Have you ever found yourself wondering, is God really going to show up when I need him? You pray, you wait, but nothing changes. And that quiet voice of doubt creeps in. Maybe he's forgotten me. Maybe this promise wasn't meant for me. Yeah, I felt that too. And that's exactly why this sermon hit so hard. Welcome to the 5-5 sermon. I'm Mr. T, and in 5 minutes or less, I'll share how I understood the sermon and give you 5 takeaways you can carry with you. This message came from preacher Robert Moore, aka Roger Moore around here. Yep, like 007. He may not have a tux or a fancy car, but when it comes to scripture, he doesn't miss. The sermon was called Doubting God's Promises. It took us into the wilderness where Jesus, physically weak and starving, faced direct attacks from Satan. These weren't random temptations, they were precise, strategic, each one trying to shake Jesus' trust in what God had already promised him. Satan says, "I'll give you all the kingdoms of the world. Just worship me." Sounds ridiculous, right? But Preacher Moore reminded us this was a real offer. Jesus knew what was coming: betrayal, humiliation, a brutal death. Satan was saying, "Why wait? Why suffer? I can give you the reward now." But Jesus didn't take the shortcut. Instead, he responded with scripture, Deuteronomy chapter 6. Worship the Lord your God and serve only him. He chose obedience over ease, pain over premature glory, because he trusted the Father's promise. And here's the part that hit me personally. All sin is a shortcut. We try to get what we want without going through what God says is necessary. Sex outside of God's design? Shortcut to intimacy. Revenge? Shortcut to justice. Addiction? It's a shortcut to peace. Instead of facing pain or emptiness, we turn to things like alcohol, drugs, porn, gambling, scrolling, or food to numb the ache. It brings quick relief, but not real healing. It only covers the pain. And every time we do it, we're saying, "God, I'm not sure you'll come through, so I'll handle this myself." And that's the lie Satan wants us to believe. That we can't trust God's timing. That we can't rely on his promises. That we're better off taking matters into our own hands. Preacher Moore reminded us that Satan doesn't wait until we're strong. He waits until we're exhausted, alone, vulnerable. Just like a wolf looks for the weakest in the pack. And when we're at our lowest, he plants seeds of doubt. Are you really a child of God? If he loved you, wouldn't your situation look different? But Scripture gives us something better to stand on. Paul said in Romans chapter 8, "We're heirs with Christ, if we suffer with him." And in Hebrews chapter 6, it says we have a sure and steadfast anchor of the soul, God's promises. When everything else shakes, they hold. They don't change, and they don't fail. So here's the question. Preacher Moore asked us, and now I'll ask you, do you believe what God promised? Because if we chase comfort now, we might miss what God has later. But if we hang on, through the doubt, through the temptation, through the silence, glory is coming. Before we close, here's a quick recap of 5 takeaways to remember, each one tied back to this one truth. You can trust God's promises. 1. Doubt is Satan's favorite weapon. He wants to make you question what God already said. 2. Temptation hits hardest when you're weak, because that's when you're most likely to stop trusting. 3. Sin is a shortcut we take when we don't believe God's way will work. 4. Jesus chose obedience over ease. His trust in God's promise is our example. 5. God's promises aren't just nice words, they're anchors. When life shakes, they hold you steady. Thanks for listening to the 5-5 sermon. I'm Mr. T. If you're in Hamilton, come visit the Fennell Avenue Church of Christ. Bible class every Sunday at 10 a.m., worship and sermon at 11, and Bible study Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. You can also check out sermons on YouTube or visit www.churchofchristhamilton.com. Till next time, don't fall for the shortcut. Trust the promise and keep holding on.